fullness of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
Welcome to this online service of Neshoba Unitarian Universalist Church in Cordova, Tennessee. I am the Reverend Beth Lefever, and I'm so very pleased that you have chosen to join with us this morning. And if I didn't say, I also am pleased to be serving this wonderful and unique church. Our opening words are by the late Sophia Lyon Fahs, Unitarian author, educator, and religious activist. We gather in reverence before the wonder of life, the wonder of this moment, the wonder of being together, so close yet so apart, each hidden in our own secret chamber, each listening, each trying to speak, yet none fully understanding, none fully understood. We gather in reverence before all intangible things that eyes see not nor ears can detect, that hands can never touch, that space cannot hold, and time cannot measure. Let us be together in reverence as we worship. And now Tom Adams will light our chalice.
As I light the chalice this morning, I ask that you reflect upon these words by Maya Angelou. I note the obvious differences in the human family. Some of us are serious, some thrive on comedy. Some declare their lives are lived as true profundity, and others claim they really live the real reality. The variety of our skin tones can confuse, bemuse, delight, brown and pink and beige and purple, tan and blue and white. I've sailed upon the 7 seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, not yet one common man. I know 10,000 women called Jane and Mary Jane, but I've not seen any two who really were the same. Mirror twins are different, although their features jibe, and lovers think quite different thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China, and weep on England's moors, and laugh and moan in Guinea, and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we're the same. I note the obvious differences between each sort and type, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. Now, if you'll join with me in saying the words of our affirmation of covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
The Red Apple by Feridun Orland. On a cold winter's day, a hungry rabbit left his burrow to find something to eat. But he couldn't find a scrap of food. Everything was buried under deep, deep snow. I have to find some food before it gets dark, Rabbit said to himself. And then Rabbit saw it. A lone red apple hanging from a tree. He skipped and jumped for joy all the way to the tree. At last, something to fill my tummy, he said, but the apple was too high. However hard Rabbit hopped and jumped, he couldn't reach it. I bet Mouse could climb the tree, Rabbit thought. Rabbit ran and ran all the way to Mouse's nest. Mouse listened carefully to Rabbit and agreed to help. But when they came up to the tree, Mouse said, I can't climb that tree. I'm just a little mouse. I might fall. Maybe if I stand on your head, I can pick the apple. But the apple was still too high. And however hard she tried, Mouse couldn't reach it. Suddenly, they heard a loud sneeze. Fox came snuffling and sneezing through the woods. Hey, over here, shouted Rabbit. Fox felt a bit under the weather, but he was curious to see what the fuss was all about. Rabbit and Mouse pointed excitedly to the single apple hanging from the tree. Can you get it for us? Rabbit asked. Fox took a long, hard look at the apple. It's a fine, ripe apple, he said, but I'm cold and feeling tired. I can't climb the tree. Maybe I can knock it off with my tail. Fox stood on his front legs. He stretched and wobbled, swayed, kicking his tail, but he couldn't knock the apple off the tree. You see that apple up there? And then Clever Mouse had an idea. I know, she said. Why don't we stand on top of each other? Then we'll be tall enough to get the apple. They did as Mouse suggested, but still, they couldn't reach the apple. They sat down under the tree, they talked and they argued, but they couldn't think of a way to get the apple. Then they heard a deep rumbling growl. Oh no! They had woken up Bear. When the sleepy bear came plodding over, the three of them told her all about the apple. Bear scratched her head and said, I'm too old to go climbing trees. But Rabbit had been thinking and had a plan. We can climb on your big, strong shoulders, he said. So they climbed up and up, one on top of the other, until at last they reached the apple. But just as Mouse was about to pick it, achoo! Fox sneezed, and the next thing they knew, they were all in a heap on the ground. They picked themselves up, sat down sadly on the cold, hard snow, and stared at each other. And then they saw it. The apple was sitting right in front of them. We did it, they cried. Then they carefully split the apple, the big juicy apple, into 4 pieces and ate it for dinner. And when their tummies were full, they all cuddled up inside Bear's cave and fell into a deep, happy sleep. The end.
Now is the time in our service where we share our resources in our morning offering. Our offering words are from the hymn by Grace Lewis McLaren. Touch the earth, reach the sky, hug the laughter, feel the cry. May we see where we can give, for this is what it means to live. Please give as you are able, knowing how much it matters and how very grateful we are. My first reading this morning is from Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom. The problem, Mitch, is that we don't believe we are as much alike as we are. Whites and blacks, Catholics and Protestants, men and women. If we saw each other as more alike, we might be very eager to join in one big human family in this world, and to care about that family the way we care about our own. But believe me, when you are dying, you see it is true. We all have the same beginning, birth, and we all have the same end, death. So how different can we be? My second very brief reading is by Turkish author Mehmet Murat İldan. Similar souls wander in similar places. They may not know each other, but often they touch the same winds, they step on the same leaves. Their looks are lost in the same horizons. When I was but a wee young'un, back in the old days, the Indiana Toll Road had family-style restaurants at all the exits. No chain fast food places, but family-style restaurants with family dining tables, and also each had a lunch counter. My hometown, Elkhart, had a toll road exit with a family-style restaurant. So one early June day between our sophomore and junior years in high school, my very best friend Vicki and I went to the restaurant and applied for summer work. We both were hired, both given uniforms you could not pay me enough to wear today, both given some remedial training, and both started serving the travel-worn and unsuspecting public. Now, having worked 18 years as a 911 dispatcher, eventually becoming the training director and then the assistant director in the Elkhart City Communications Center, I will tell you that former wait staff, along with former air traffic controllers, were those we tried to hire when we had a vacancy in the 911 center. This is because both of those professions require efficient multitasking, performing calmly under pressure, and sometimes dealing with people who are stressed and emotional. I was fairly good at emergency dispatching, but I gotta tell you, to put a lie to our hiring preferences, as hard as I tried, I was not a very good food server. But I did make some lasting observations about people. I want to tell you about one of them in particular. I had been assigned to the lunch counter one day, which is where business travelers tended to eat, wanting to be done with their meal quickly in order to get back on the road as soon as possible. I was serving a very attractive young man, all dressed up in suit and tie, his hair impeccably combed and clearly self-confident and sure of himself. I'd served him the hamburger he'd ordered and stood back inconspicuously, I hope, watching him very carefully prepare it just to his liking. He spread some mayonnaise on it, added mustard and ketchup, and then carefully rearranged the pickle slices before moving the lettuce and tomato from the side of the plate onto his sandwich. He completed his preparations by placing the top half of the bun on his sandwich and pressing it down just so. When it seemed all was to his liking, he tucked his napkin under his chin, very carefully raised the sandwich to his mouth, and took a bite. When he did so, and this is absolutely true, juice squirted out of the side of the hamburger and onto the person sitting to his left, someone he did not know. "Oh, I beg your pardon," he exclaimed, hurriedly dragging the napkin from beneath his chin and awkwardly patting at the surprised and besplattered woman. I do not know what happened next because I barely made it from behind the counter into the kitchen before I dissolved into helpless laughter. That was not the only time I had to race for the kitchen so as not to offend people with my laughter when either I or my friend Vicki did or observed something hysterical. And let me just insert right here that hiring two giggly high school best friends to wait in the same restaurant, not a good idea. There was the time Vicki served a slice of pie to a customer who insisted she put more and more whipped cream on it. As Vicki turned the can upside down and pressed the button, the whipped cream not only flowed over the pie, it flowed over the plate and onto the counter, slowly making its way to the counter's edge. I think Vicki managed to toss him a towel before she joined me in the kitchen, where we worked hard to get our laughter under control. And then there was a guy who insisted his Coke be served without ice, and though we tried to explain it to him, was shocked to discover the Coke was warm. We got him some ice and then raced back out to the kitchen. I can't remember why that one was so funny, but it was. There were other such instances, but the one that stayed with me the most was the man with the juicy hamburger. I knew, even as I was in the kitchen convulsed with laughter, that I was not laughing at him so much as with him. Because as different from me as he seemed, and as pompous as he appeared, I somehow knew that I was laughing at the human condition rather than at the man. I could relate to what he appeared to be feeling. I could relate to his efforts at being well-dressed and professional, his preoccupation with the next meeting or sales appointment, his hunger and desire for a quick but decent meal. I could relate to the self-doubt that likely lurked beneath his impeccable dress and manner. Because as different from me as night from day, I could see myself in him, in his predicament, and in his embarrassment. We are all so very much alike. And I wanted to explore this topic, especially right now, when so much of our country seems so widely divided, angrily divided in politics, philosophy, ideals, beliefs, and lifestyles. We are all so very divided right now, and many of us long to bridge those differences. It seems to me that one way to do that is to de-emphasize the differences while recognizing how very alike we are, how all of our tears are wet, no matter the cause, how all of our blood is red regardless of our outer color, how all of our wails of pain or longing sound alike, and our fears make our breathing similarly shallow. We are all alike in our movement from birth to death, no matter the ease or difficulty at either end of the journey. We all are born, we all will die. We all are alike in the way our senses work, our taste, our smell, our touch, our vision, our hearing. Though we may put different meanings around our sensory experiences, the experiences themselves are very much the same. Our sense of wonder at the magnitude of the world when we get a glimpse of it, our gratitude for the coming and going of the seasons, the knowledge that the setting sun will rise again, though the joy or pain of our days may differ. We are alike in these things. We climb out of different beds, one person a king-size linen-filled luxury, and another a tiny cot with but one scratchy blanket, if that. One with hope, maybe, and one with dread. One feeling fit and another feeling achy or ill. But both of us wishing we could snooze just a few minutes more before rising to face the day. Two seeds drop near to one another and take root in the ground. They sprout and grow and blossom. One is a small violet, one the beginnings of a huge maple tree. One a shy daisy, one a statuesque sunflower, one a dandelion, one a giant fir tree. And though they will not all grow at the same pace or live the same lifespan, they are all born from the same ground and the same processes to make their way toward the same sun. As are we, into different circumstances with different gifts and challenges, but all of us born of the same processes, all of us on the same journey through life to death, all of us similarly trying to make sense of it all, to make meaning of it all. We all shudder alike When experiencing horror or distaste, we all sometimes double over in laughter. We all get lonely. We all want, we all hope, we all hurt, we all rage, we all soothe and rejoice, though perhaps not as often as we would like. We all have the capacity to experience many of the same joys and disappointments in our lives and the same worry about the future and about our family and friends and loved ones. We are far more alike than not. And it is ours to recognize those similarities, to relate to them when we can, and to reach out to all those others, uplifting the common ground between and among us. Perhaps then we can begin the slow journey toward one another, the ever so slow journey of connection and repair and unity. I'd like to close with an excerpt from a poem by the late Rick Maston, poet and Unitarian Universalist minister. For you and I may chance to meet, and having met, become a part of one another. If I alone cannot change, I am changed by my sister and my brother. And in this larger way, I change myself. For aren't we all each other? Aren't we all each other? May it be so, and amen. Now let us move into a time of meditation, reflection, and prayer. The words for this morning's meditation are from a hymn by Shelley Jackson Denham. Spirit of great mystery, hear the still small voice in me. Help me live my wordless creed as I comfort those in need. Fill me with compassion. Be the source of my intuition. Then when life is done for me, let love be my legacy. Amen. And until next week, blessed, blessed be.
How good